We're joined by a prolific columnist at The Sun, The Spectator and The Sunday Times, the great Rod Liddle. Welcome, Rod.
Hiya, mate. How you doing?
Good to see you. Well, first up, two-tier Keir. I mean, there's so many elements of his ludicrous government we could talk about, but he even made a hash of lighting up a Christmas tree in Downing Street today. Couldn't even do that properly. But I thought the story that caught my eye was since they came into power, this lot of student politicians in the Labour cabinet, they have set up 67 taxpayer-funded reviews, task forces and consultations. That's in the first 150 days. So it's all jaw and no policies. This is typical of socialists, isn't it? They just want to sit around in committee rooms talking about stuff rather than doing anything.
I think you're being very cynical, Kevin. And I don't think it sits easily with you, if I'm absolutely honest. There are at least two of these talking shops which Sir Keir has invented, and which presumably pay a decent wage if you're part of them. One of them is deciding whether a ninja sword is a knife or not. Now, I want to be on that committee because I have my views about ninja swords, you know. I have my views. The other one I really want to be on is considering the funding for the Arts Council. Well, it takes me 0.4 of a second to consider the funding for the Arts Council. And I've decided now, and I can reveal exclusively that I've cut it to nothing. There is no more funding for the Arts Council. That's what would happen if I was on that particular board. Largely because, of course, the Arts Council is entirely populated by middle-class liberal imbeciles who ordain that we have to watch and be affronted by their kind of art and their kind of drama and their kind of film. So I'd just stop it immediately.
It's interesting.
Any more? Should we be on this? How do you fancy me and you being on the Sentencing Review Justice Committee? I think we should do that, mate.
Yeah, we'll do that one, yeah. I like the Art Council idea, but I'll take the Sentencing Review as well. I think we should get on as many of these important taxpayer-funded reviews, task force and consultations as we possibly can to help them along their way. But, I mean, to be serious for a second, Ron, I mean, why don't they just do something rather than sit around setting up 67 reviews?
Because they don't know what they're doing, Kev. You know, this is the point. This is a government which seems to have no purpose whatsoever, seems to have no ideology, no purpose, no real sense of what it's meant to be doing for the country. And so everything is effectively booted into the long grass at our expense because we pay for all these talking shops. Yeah. Because there is no clear line from them on what they're trying to do. Obviously,
quite. No.
I mean, in fairness, obviously, there's nothing wrong with groups sitting down and thinking, what should we do about air passenger duty reforms and all this kind of stuff. But the basic problem is that they do not have an idea as to how they wish to govern this country. It's just not there, you know?
Yeah, and they are the type of people who actually do enjoy the Corbyn syndrome, sitting around in dreary committee rooms, talking to each other about this, that and the other, without actually doing it. They love the sound of their own voices. They love the sound of their virtue-signalling student politics. And that's what's going on here. We've got a government that have no idea what they're doing. Now, this Prime Minister of ours, Keir Starmer, I don't know if you spotted him today turning on the Christmas tree lights in Downing Street. He couldn't even do that well. He made a real hash of it, but I don't know if you've seen this yet, Rod, but we geniuses at Talk have put this together, so enjoy this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It worked.
Thunderbirds are go.
Well, under Keir Starmer, Rod, I think the problem is that Thunderbirds are not go. I mean, I'm serious about this. there's something unhuman about him. I mean, he can't do normal human, can he?
No, he can't. No. I mean, the big problem with him is that you either get as your prime minister a technocrat or an ideologue, and we've got in Keir Starmer a technocrat. But he's useless at it.
A wannabe technocrat.
Yeah, he's an untechnocrat. But you know, it's not just all those little sub-quangos which you've mentioned. The approaching 100 of them. It's when, for example, I report back from my important work on the Ninja Knife Subcommittee. And I say, I have come to the conclusion that the ninja knife is probably dangerous. This then becomes a recommendation which is then sent to the Standing Committee on Ninja Knives and Other Implements Derived from Oriental Culture. And they then take a view on it, and that then gets sent to the Standing Committee on Knives General, and it will go on, and it will be eternal. And in the meantime, everyone's being sliced to bits in the country by ninja knives. And these talking shops are still saying, wow, I don't think we can say that it's a knife per se. It is.
Can we have a show of hands? Is it a knife or is it a ninja weapon?
Have a show of hands. Oh, you haven't got a hand. It's been sliced off by a ninja.
What about he made a speech last night at Mansion House. He looked very dapper in his white tie. And I think the worrying thing about this, I'm going to talk later with Tim Montgomery about this as well, once he's explained his defection from the Tory party. He made this speech saying, we mustn't be forced to choose between America and the EU, other governments.
Well, you are.
Yes, exactly. That's my point. The point is you will be forced to choose, and we know which way he's going to step. Then we know the direction he's going to go in. It's to Brussels and not Washington, and I would humbly suggest that that's the wrong direction.
Yes, but he's hamstrung already by having dissed over a period of 6 months the incoming US government, which will have no truck with him because it considers him rightly to be a hostile actor, given that, 100 Labour twits were sent to ruin the election for the Democrats and did so spectacularly successfully.
Yeah.
And all the comments which have been made by Professor Planck, i.e. David Lammy, about the US. So he's rather core. And what he's left doing is allying himself with the liberal elite in Europe, which is on its way out. There would be a sense in allying yourself with Europe if it was with Giorgio Meloni and Viktor Orban and Robert Fico and so on. But he's not. It's Macron, whose days are very, very numbered. It's the old guard, and across Europe, we've seen it all through the last 2 or 3 years. Liberalism is on its last legs. It's being evicted from every country where there's a proper voting system which allows people to have their say. It's only us that remains with a kind of liberal party in charge of us.
Yes, and I think that we are going to lurch rightwards. There's no doubt about that. Hence, I think Tim Montgomery's...
Well, all far leftwards. Yeah. At
the moment we're left, but we will go right. Well, there's going to be...
I don't think we're very left-wing at the moment. I think we're in a sort of mediocre centrist quagmire led by pygmies. And I think it's, there's a left-wing candidate in Germany. I forget the absurd name of her party, but it's based around herself. And the left is making gains as well. The far left is making gains. Yeah. The people who are losing out are the Greens, the Liberals, and traditional, what we would call neoliberal Labour parties. They're all on the way out, and that is what Sir Keir Starmer has allied himself to, and so he is. We're going to be a power without any support, by important people in this world.
Yeah, and there's no doubt whatsoever this Keir Starmer and his useless crew are kidding themselves, his cabinet crew, that, you know, that the thing about Donald Trump is he loves Britain. You know, his mother was Scottish, and therefore they think that he will look kindly upon us.
Yeah.
I would say that our special relationship with America, given Labour's history with Donald Trump, is pretty much non-existent now.
Well, you know, I suspect there's no question that Donald Trump does love Britain, but the Labour government, and before it the Labour Party, did everything within its power to make him hate Britain.
I know, exactly, exactly.
As obnoxious as possible. And this dates back, you know, 5-6 years to when all people like the loathsome Sadiq Khan were floating balloons over the city, telling us how we shouldn't have Donald Trump here, and you know, the leader of the free world, no, ban him from coming. Yeah. You children, you absolute children. Yeah. You know, their attitude has been that of a kind of dispossessed 13-year-old moron. They don't agree with Donald Trump, fine, you know? Yeah. I don't suppose Harold Macmillan agreed with John F. Kennedy. Yeah. But, you know, you make the relationship the important thing. Well,
same deal with Keir and the rest of the cabinet, and Elon Musk, the world's richest man. They don't like him. They don't particularly like his politics, the fact that he's allied to Donald Trump. But the main reason they don't like him is they're 1970s student-style socialists, and they just don't like rich people.
That's it. Well, that's it, and it's also, of course, partly 1970s student politics. They don't like the USA.
Yeah. Exactly.
They don't like NATO. They don't like anything we stand for. They
don't like Britain.
They don't like Britain. They would rather we were Venezuela.
They would.
Hola. You know.